Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Black Lady Label Trading Company Santa Muerte Corona Gorda. Cigar is 5.5 inches by 48 ring gauge. Comes out of the Fabrica Oveja Negra factory in Nicaragua. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano. Binder is also Ecuadorian Habano, and the filler is Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Connecticut, and San Andres. Blended by James Brown. It was released in October of 2016. Price point is $8.50. So, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
Prelight was good in terms of the look of the cigar. I thought it had like a medium brown Colorado Claro wrapper shade to it. Veins well pressed, seams were tight. Bunch of roll was the only kind of downside to it. I thought it was pretty firm to the touch, really little give to it. And the head finished off with a really well applied. I counted four cap, so a quadruple cap. In terms of the pre-light nosy experience, smelling the wrapper, I got spicy cedar, pungent barnyard, and flowers. When I smelled the foot, I got sweet cedar, barnyard, and white pepper. When I did the cold draw, I got some cedar and like a really nice, it's like really ripe and jammy kind of a stone fruit going on. So overall, pretty good.
Yeah, wrapper was medium brown. There was a little bit of darker marbling to it. There was one medium-sized vein that kind of ran the length of the cigar. The seams were smooth, but they were pretty easily visible just due to the color variations in the wrapper. The head appeared to have a quadruple cap. I don't remember, what did you say, triple cap?
I say quadruple.
Oh, you said quadruple. Yeah, you don't see it very often, so it just kind of stuck out to me. The band is like the familiar Black Label Trading Company shape, primarily black with white lettering and artwork. Aroma from the wrapper was a mix of leather and barnyard, and the foot gave a combination of leather and hay. And the pre-light draw was a mix of that leather and some sweet hay as well. So flavor-wise, what was your experience like?
Starting from the first third, I thought the profile represented by a slightly tongue-numbing sweet and spicy cedar. Got some bread notes and like a really rich nuttiness. Through retrohaling, really intense black pepper and cream nuttiness. The finish lingers really long with fresh oak, dried nuts, namely on the rear palate. In terms of strength and body, strength was right at medium full, with just an inch into the cigar, and body was at the medium point. Moving on to the second third. Second third still maintained the first thirst notes. In addition to, I started getting this wood bitterness to it. Still got that tongue-numbing sweet and spicy cedar, bread, rich nuttiness. The strength is really the main differential between the first and second third. My fellow was considerably stronger, borderlining full. It gave me like a really cloudy head, and it really made me want to go, eat some sugar, just pound a freaking Coke in me or something. The retro was thankfully still the same. Still got that stronger black pepper, especially that cream nuttiness, which is really tasty. Finish still long and lingering, but now it was more comprised with like a dry oak and spicy cedar that layered the entire palate, as compared to something that was just kind of in the back of the palate. Body still in the medium point. Within the last third, I could sum it up in kind of in two sections. One for the first half, and another for the second half of the last third. First half, really not a lot of difference from the second third, except that the profile became slightly bit more bread and cream nuts centric, which is always a welcome thing. I mean, those two flavors are one of my favorite notes in cigars in general. The latter half is where the profile kind of fell short. Cigar had heavily spicy cedar, very strength forward, being pretty full. And it really drowned out the other notes that I was tasting. But luckily, the retro is still intact, giving me that deep black pepper, that cream nuttiness. Finish still lingers long, but with the dry oak and wood bitterness. And body was still at that medium point. So the big surprise for this one was how strong the cigar got, since the beginning, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, initial draws brought like a very full peppery cedar, and then after a few draws, that pepper kind of morphed into a spiciness. that the cedar was carrying with a little bit of cream that joined into the profile. Retro was also a full spicy cedar. And then at half an inch in, some of that black pepper kind of came back to the profile. And the retro transitioned to a creamy cedar at that point. And then 3/4 of an inch in, pepper settled down. It was mainly on the long finish, while the creamy cedar was up front. And then 1.25 inches, the cedar transitioned to oak as the cream remained there. The pepper was fairly mild, but mixed in with the cream, it had a really long finish on my tongue. And the strength in that first third was just slightly above medium. Getting into the second third, that creamy oak kind of continued, but there was a diminished amount of the pepper. And then at 1/4 inch in, some bitterness joined in with that creamy oak. And then at 3/4 of an inch in, the oak became pretty dark, while the cream kind of moved to the background. And there's still some bitterness that was in the background as well. And as the third was coming to a close, that bitterness increased, and a little bit of mintiness kind of joined in with that dark oak, and the strength moved up to a medium full level. And then getting to the final third, the bitterness was up front, and the oak moved to the background. And then half an inch in, that bitterness mellowed out some and kind of became even with the oak. There was a little bit of mintiness on the finish still. And then an inch in, the bitterness settled down even more, and kind of moved into the background while the oak moved up front. That's pretty much how the cigar finished out for me, and strength was at the medium full level as well. So performance-wise for burn and draw, what was the experience like?
I thought the burn was absolutely perfect. Slow, cool burning, lasted a little under 2 hours of smoking time. Ashes held on tight, 1.5 inch increments of self-tap ash marks. Burn line really sharp, and I never had to revisit my lighter. The draw, on the other hand, it was a letdown. So when I was kind of feeling the cigar within a pre-light experience and feeling how tight it was, I think that may have attributed to such a tight draw that I had. And even I cut it to like that very last, piece of that cap, and it was still no relief. But I thought about taking my draw poker to it, but I really didn't want to mess with, the cigar possibly bursting.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, burn was pretty straight most of the way. Just a couple of times I got a little bit wavy. Ash was holding on about 1.25 inch increments. And then for the draw, it was pretty snug the entire way for me as well. It caused the cigar to heat up at times, which I think kind of led to the bitterness that kind of came into the profile. So I think we both kind of experienced a little bit of too snug of a draw on that one. So overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
I overall liked it. I thought that, within the black label trading stuff that we reviewed on our site, which is really representative of the only black label stuff that I've ever had.
Right.
This is probably my favorite one out of all of them. So, overall, I like that bold, like kind of a somewhat of a nuanced delivery of the cigar. That really heavy-handed spicy wood paired with that rich nuttiness was really tasty, especially when I had this. It was mid-afternoon. It was like one of those cooler days, and it's not freaking finally raining here. So, it was an ideal kind of environment to smoke it, I thought. I could have gone without that super over-the-top building strength, and of course got the really pesky tight draw. But the spicy wood complemented that strength well. So, like, for instance, it goes hand in hand, right? If you could just give me like a really strong cigar, you give me like no deepness and flavor, that's one thing. But whereas this guy, at least that spicy wood that I tasted, it mashed with that strength. I wouldn't hesitate to smoke the cigar again, but perhaps next time, I'll probably kill like a pound of steak and then drink and do something like that instead of before this meal, like half an hour before, I drink like 70 grams of like whey protein, and that definitely didn't help. So
yeah. Yeah, this cigar never really got off the ground for me. Profile started out pretty average, and I think the draw kind of held back the flavors that the cigar wanted to present. Also kind of led to some of that bitterness. I'd be very interested in trying the cigar again just to see if I get a different experience, hopefully a better draw, something like that, to kind of let the flavors, come up and, really show me what the cigar wants to show. I was hoping that you'd have a better experience in regards to the draw and things like that. But it definitely sounds like you got a better flavor profile. And like you said, strength level is up there. So, people that are looking to venture to this cigar, they need to be, I think, well aware of that. So if they're not, a medium full kind of level smoker, have something sugary on hand just to be able to kind of temper that down if it hits you. So getting to the scores, I gave it a 4.93. You gave it a 6.20. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
6.40. Yeah, I mean, I kind of rated it, within the first 2/3 being good flavor and average out of last third. And then I think the majority of that score was the story of the draw, and I rated a subpar, which I rarely rate, draws being subpar, but it was, I guess you could say it was that bad. But I mean, I still overall enjoy the flavors, but that draw construction was just, it just really killed it.
Yeah, my score matches up well. I mean, I rated it average for the first 2/3 and then subpar for the final third. I think the draw just really killed it for me. It just really just muted everything, heated things up. It just didn't really let the cigar shine. So unfortunate, but that was kind of the experience I had. So any other final thoughts from you?
No, I was trying to think back towards the construction of the other black label that we've reviewed, and I don't really remember, but I was wondering if I've been at least having issues with burn or draw.
Right.
But anyways, I can't recall back then. But so no, really, I don't have anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. You can also catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for watching or listening, and we will catch you on the next one.